What's going on, everyone? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine and your host of the RodCAST, brought to you by Lucas Oil. Today, I am joined by my co-host, Greg Acosta, editor of Engine Labs and the all-around tech guru. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Vinny. What's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Well, actually, that's not true. There's a lot going on today. Today is the final piece of our three-part series in which we virtually build super muscle cars and kind of grade them, right? We're joined again by our longtime guest, Rob Finkelman, a columnist for Street Muscle Magazine, who the audience knows and loves. And so we have this scoring system that we've been using for the past few episodes. I don't have to tell you, Greg, but for everyone at home, it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, yes, it's the Mopar. Like, I'm not going to lie. This is probably the one I'm least excited about just because, you know.
I feel like I'm in a unique position, man, because, man, it seems like anytime I post anything on Street Muscle's Facebook page, someone's going to chime in. Like if I post a Camaro, you know, all the Dodge and Ford people go, oh, another Camaro, or, oh, it's just a piece of crap Chevy. Or if I post a Mustang, people are going to hate. Or if I post a Mopar, oh, it's a boat. So I feel like I'm in a unique position because I really like all of them, man. I really do. Obviously, there are some that I like a lot more than others, but you know, you have your brand, Rob has his, and so do I to some extent. You know, I'm a GM guy, but ultimately, I get just as excited about this one as I do the ZL1.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. If you know Dodge, and if you're listening, Dodge, listen closely. If they were to be like, hey, you know, we want to give you this car, I certainly wouldn't be like, give me the cash value instead. You know, I certainly would be like, absolutely, and I would drive the crap out of it. But if it's coming out of my own hard-earned money, I feel like there's a lot of other choices before a Challenger. Yeah,
no, I get where you're coming from, and then everybody has their brand loyalties. But I'm excited about this episode nonetheless, man. I think it's going to be cool. If nothing else,
it's still an 800 horsepower car.
Yeah, if nothing else, it'll be cool to see the end results, right? Like where this one stacks up as far as value is concerned, and just where our personal opinions are concerned, right? Because that's where those metrics come in. We can quantitatively examine, you know, exactly how we feel about each car.
Yeah, and I know you and I have talked about this, you know, off camera about where we think it's going to fall, you know, based on the other two. But I don't know, maybe it's going to surprise us. Like, I mean, dude, it is legitimately a wild card because I have not been on their site. Like, I don't know how much we're going to even base price for. There's like a $15,000 range where we could start, and we haven't even determined that yet.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, listen, depending on which one we choose, actually, I think it'll remain the same regardless, but there are some categories that I know I'm going to score pretty high, and some that I know I'm going to score pretty low comparatively. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see once we jump into it. Yeah, I don't want to make any predictions just yet. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsors and get into it.
Hi, I'm Jim McElvain from Optima Batteries, and I'm here today to talk about why batteries aren't made like they used to be. You've heard people say that, and it's true. Batteries aren't made like they used to be made. They're made better than ever, but people are still having battery problems. So why is that? Because new vehicles are more demanding than ever on their batteries. I came out here in a Chevrolet Silverado that had air-conditioned seats, it had satellite radio, it had Wi-Fi, it had OnStar, it had all kinds of stuff. And you need strong batteries to power all that. So the batteries they're putting in vehicles today are sometimes 30% bigger than the batteries they put in 10, 15, 20 years ago. So what can you do to extend and maximize the performance of your battery regardless of the brand? Use a battery charger or maintainer. Use it once a month. This is the Optima Digital 400 charger and maintainer. Anybody can use it. It's no spark technology, so you won't hurt yourself using it. Positive on positive, negative on the ground. That's it. It'll do the rest. Take care of your battery. It'll take care of you and your vehicle.
Gentlemen, this is the third installment of the Super Muscle Car Shootout, the finale, the Hellcat. Are you guys ready?
I am ready.
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready for argument number one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hellcat or Red Eye?
Right.
I
I've
mean,
done some
yeah.
thinking about that.
yeah, Red Eye. I think it has to be a Red Eye.
Well, let's see. What's Rob have to say?
Well, yeah, I think it has to be a red eye because, if we're really going to compare top offering from each manufacturer, set aside the Demon, which is no longer in production, and the Super Stock, which we could argue back and forth whether the Super Stock qualifies because it's basically a Demon that's sort of street.
I really don't think you could argue for either of those. I don't think either one of those fits. They're too.
I don't think so either, and I've given it a lot of thought. And in respect to, well, I mean, top offering is really the red eye. Just if you're talking between a Hellcat and a Hellcat red eye, you can go ahead later on and give me crap, Greg, about there being no Tremec, I believe is the. We were just arguing off screen about what's the proper pronunciation, Tremec or Tremec, but there's no 6-speed offering on a red eye. The reason being that it's not robust enough to handle the red eye's torque. I think in order for them to put a 6-speed in that could handle it, they would have to go above and beyond the price point that they wanted to pay for a tranny.
Well, my only question on that is, does it have a torque converter?
It is well, you tell me, you're the tech guru. It has the ZF8 speed, the ubiquitous ZF8.
Well, I don't pay attention to Mopar stuff because.
Well, it's the same ZF you would get on certain offerings from BMW, and it's used by many manufacturers.
It is because as soon as I Googled it, I can see the picture of the torque converter.
Okay, so it's not dual.
It's a conventional automatic.
Right, a very good one, I might add. I have it in my Grand Cherokee, although obviously the red eye has a more robust unit. But the
the only car that we're in the Super Muscle Car Shootout that we're comparing that has a manual transmission,
a traditional
is the ZL1.
Yeah.
Well, stop! You don't qualify like that by saying traditional. It has a manual. The other two do not, in any sense of the word. So therefore, the ZL1 wins. Thank you. This has been the finale. We'll see you guys next week.
We could, I mean, if it, that was the other side of the argument. On the one side, we're comparing top offerings, but on the other side, you can get a Hellcat with a 6-speed manual, just not a red eye, and not a Super Stock, and not a Demon.
Hey, can you get the Super Stock with? Okay.
Nope.
No, I agree with you guys. I'm just, hey, I'm yanking you guys' chain. I think we need to do the red eye, but
it's completely different for all three.
I'm sorry. Say again.
I find it odd that it's completely different for all three. It's not two of them sharing a design and one standing out. There's manual, DCT, and then an actual torque converter transmission only.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah.
Well, the ZL1 doesn't. I mean, if it made the power levels that the red eye does, it would probably have an automatic. Same for the GT5.
That's so backwards because it used to be that automatics didn't hold the power.
Right. Now they do.
Well, because I'm guessing it's because of ECU torque management strategies.
And also you're in the muscle cars that the three of us are talking about, they're pushing 800 horsepower. In the case of the Super Stock and the Demon, they're both over 800 horsepower.
Yep.
And there's just nothing on the market within Chrysler's ability to, pay for and pop in to either of those cars that'll handle the level of torque and power.
It makes it inaccessible to the average consumer. I think, the person who's in the market for that car, they don't want a race car with a clutch that's like so difficult,
Yeah, well, especially because both the Demon and the Super Stock are really aimed at drag racing. I mean, the Demon is a drag car. The Super Stock, although I believe it comes with, it does not come with slick
With
tires,
skinnies,
like the Demon does. Clearly, with its after-run chiller and all the parts that were borrowed from the Demon, it's a track car. Designed to go in a straight line. And these days, I mean, it's sad for guys like us who love to drive manual cars and really enjoy, rowing a stick ourselves and using an actual clutch. But today's automatics just blow manual shifters and your ability as a driver to shift out of the water, man. I mean, the ZF 8 speeds and stuff, and the transmission in the GT500, they're shifting in milliseconds.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would take a DCT in the Mustang in a second.
Sure. Yeah, that really converted me. That changed my mind. Not that like that would be my first choice, but not given a choice, I wouldn't mind it.
I mean, it's like if your goal is track times, like a Demon and a Super Stock are basically made for. I mean, a stick shift is ancient technology. There's no way to be. It's cool, fun. But there's no.
You will impress everyone at your high school, Rob.
Oh, yeah, come on!
Right.
You go to Cars and Coffee, and all the teenagers are going to clamor for your manually shifted.
Well, I like to say, all of my cars except my daily driver, the Grand Cherokee, all my cars are stick. And I like to say I don't need to buy the club or a special alarm system or anything like that, because kids these days who are out stealing cars don't even know what a manual, they couldn't drive it away. So.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they couldn't just destroy it just out of.
Well, they could put it on a flatbed, but they couldn't drive it away. So,
Rob, you sparked an idea. Auto theft has changed. I published an article a couple months ago about it was a recap of this FBI training video that showed how like auto theft rings operated back in like the 60s and 70s, chop shops, if you will.
A lot of guys going, yeah, see?
It was more like a silent video, or it was narrated. But yeah, you get that feeling, right? And it was, everything was so low tech. It was all, the locks were manually manipulated, and, it's not hard to hotwire a car. I'm not going to explain it here, but you guys can probably find it on the internet. Don't Google it with your phone. But it makes me think, like, how does it work for modern cars? I know that a lot of people will get those like sleeves for their key fobs that block scanners and things like that. I'd like to talk to somebody about that. It might be an interesting episode.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely gone high tech. They're able, even with today's advanced security systems and ignition systems on cars with scanners, they're able to pick up, rolling codes and stuff like that, isolate it, wait until the owner walks away, and then just, it's amazing to the extent that actually recently Stellantis, in particular Dodge cars, Challengers and Chargers, there was a Uconnect update for security. You have to now enter a PIN code in order to drive the car away. And if you don't enter that PIN code, revs are it's limited to idle speed, and the car can't be driven away, because so many Hellcats are getting stolen these days that the insurance industry insisted upon some form of added security. So I think
sense.
21 and up, the Uconnect system, if it's already not installed on the system, an over-the-air update goes into your Uconnect system, and then the next time you start the car, there's a PIN code that you have to
Listen, when we build this this Hellcat, this red eye,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get those locking lug nuts.
Yeah, right. The
$500.
Wait, I thought the Dodge one was the one that was actually reasonable.
More reasonable.
Yeah, more
but
reasonable.
I still think it's, absurd. But
Well,
should we
hey,
get into it?
Yeah, we've been dancing around it for long enough. Let's do it.
All right.
Cool. So we're here. Good. All right. So I'm guessing we'll click on Challenger. Wait, where?
Build
This
and
is-
price.
Okay, I'm like, this is so foreign to me.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go down to.
All right. We've got a decision to make right here and now.
Well, I
And
see.
that is-
The super stock's already at 82. So
Uh,
what's the decision?
Well, the decision, and we kind of went through this when we built the Scat Pack 392, is there is no true track pack for this car like there is with the GT500 and these the ZL1. The Dodge version of a track pack is really putting a wide body kit on it. And so right
There you
off
go.
the bat, we have to decide whether we're building a Hellcat red eye or a Hellcat red eye wide body.
Wait a second. Why is the wide body cheaper than just the standard red eye?
Not.
It's not.
Yeah, 72,870. Oh, sorry. I was only looking at the second half.
Fail.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any debate. It has to be a wide body.
Personally, Vinny and I, if you guys have watched our past episodes, especially the Scat Pack one, we went at it tooth and nail about non-wide body versus wide body. I argued that it's a retro design and that was supposed to emulate the e-body Challenger, and that the wide body is a cardinal sin because
I like them.
design.
I like them.
Vinny, on the other hand, loves it. But when
they
it comes
look
to
cool.
performance, there's no argument. You get big meats on this car. You get a different suspension tuning. And, when you're dealing with 797 horsepower, trying to get that down on stock 275s on a narrow body Challenger, it's,
Rob, I honestly think the engineers looked at the Challenger and they said, hey, look, it's not heavy enough.
Ruin it.
We need to add some weight to this thing. It's too light. We need to add some fender flares.
Right.
And
I honestly think the engineers said, oh, we need fender flares. Okay, www.ebay.com.
And they bought them from China.
Yep.
I just can't stand the look. I would be a big fan if they had integrated the flares into the bodywork most cars do.
Or gone the complete opposite direction and embraced the bolt-on look and had like exposed rivets.
Yeah, that, or even make them out of, like black material, like they were bolt-on.
Or carbon fiber.
Or carbon fiber or what have you.
no, look, if you got this thing, because they have the Trans Am wide body, the TA wide body. And to me, that Challenger has the best looks out of the entire stable of Challengers, because it has that TA hood, kind of like the AAR CUDA back in the day.
Yeah.
And so it's akin to the Trans Am cars of the day, right? So it still has the vintage look, and the flares are a part of that to me. So it doesn't detract from it. I think it's cool.
I mean, if I were buying it for myself, and I'm not a track guy anymore, it would be a normal body as opposed to the wide body. But we're trying to maximize this car for performance, so there's no question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I was gonna buy one, I wouldn't buy one. Like, I'm not trying to. It's not my cup of tea. Like,
different strokes.
They're cool, man.
It just.
In terms of color, we already did the Scat Pack in. We all agreed our favorite color, which was Go Mango Orange. I think we also agreed that since we did Go Mango, the last time that we would pick a different color.
Rob, we agreed last week that this was your call.
We did.
Yeah.
Did we?
So yeah, you get to pick the color because last week Greg and I got to pick the color of the GT500.
All right. Well, I've got 3 suggestions here,
Okay.
and I'm actually open to debate.
All right,
Number 1 is what you're hovering over, Greg, F8 green. Now,
Oh,
before you
okay.
click it, I just want to let you know that when the color changes on the screen, that it looks absolutely nothing like the real color.
Oh, I know. I actually saw this color car yesterday, which
And it's gorgeous.
which will be coming up in later discussions. But
Okay. F8 green is a beautiful color. I'm going to give a shout out to a buddy of mine, Tom Ladeau, down in Texas. He was he owns the very first Hellcat Red Eye that I ever saw. I saw it at Springfest 2019. And his car is F8 green with a sepia leather interior, and the car is gorgeous. If you guys want to check it out, I wrote an article on his car a couple of years back when he first got it and I first saw it. So this color that you're seeing on the screen, it looks bold. In reality, F8 green is a very subtle green.
I like it with the bronze wheels, but I want to hear your other choices. The other colors we have to choose from.
That's number 1. Number 2 is their silver color, which is called triple nickel, which in person is gorgeous.
oh, that's Smoke Show. Sorry, there's
Yeah, that's Smoke Show. There you go, triple nickel. And
that's weird.
all of-
On this, it looks on the color selector. This one looks darker than Smoke Show.
I know, but in reality, it's the other way
Yeah.
around. Smoke Show is like a gloss light gray, like almost a chalk color, which is darker than triple nickel. But I've seen triple nickels in person, and I know it's a pretty bland color as far as, if you're buying a muscle car, but in person it is tight, and all the wheel offerings, except Brass Monkey, look great. Black wheels, like carbonized gray wheels, anything you want to put on it looks dynamite on the silver. And last but not least, my, black. These cars look damn good in pitch black. They are menacing and mean. And I own a black Challenger myself, so.
I think I know which one we're going to end up with. The black is cool. If I was going to buy one, that's the color I would get out of the ones that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But for our purposes today, I think the triple nickel is going to work best.
What do you think, Greg?
I'm a silver guy. I mean, that.
Yeah.
I like F8 green. I'm not gonna lie. I like the color.
F8 green?
So I'd be good with either. I think, the silver is gorgeous. The triple nickel is gorgeous. F8 green is gorgeous too. I don't know.
I think I would probably lean to triple nickel, because like an F8 green is the type of color, although it's beautiful, it's like you really got to commit to that. You got to make damn sure you want a green car, because 6 months into owning it, you could wake up one morning and be like, wow, it's green. Like, why did I do that? Why didn't I?
It's not my favorite. Do they have a blue? Can I see a blue?
They have 2 blues. They have
This is
Frostbite,
gorgeous.
and that's indigo, which is a great color too.
Oh, I like
They
that.
do not make a lot of indigos. They're very hard to find, so you usually have to BTO, build to order, to get.
What's the one right next to it?
That's
The
called
Frost?
Frostbite.
No, I don't like it.
See, I've got a problem with this shade of blue. Not a problem with it. I mean, it's a pretty color, but Jamie's Escape was that color. So it's very much a pedestrian color to me.
Yeah. Before Jaxie, quiet. Before they had a color called B5 blue, which was a heritage color.
B5 is like so good.
We
What
were
about
actually looking at Challengers for you
the-
at B5 blue.
Exactly, because I wanted to build a TA type car. But what about the 2 purple colors? There, so you have the Plum Crazy, obviously, and then what was the other one called, Rob? Hellraisin, thank you.
Hellraisin, which was originally called Black Eye when we picked that color at Springfest.
Wait, that's octane red. That's not.
That's
no,
octane.
I know.
And then you have Tor Red, which is a heritage
color.
Well.
Octane is really nice, and the one that you guys picked at Springfest was really good. Hellraisin.
Yeah.
But out of all these,
Tor Red is beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about the gold, and also when you pick gold, you automatically get the blacked out hood, and
we know how you feel about blacked out hoods, Rob.
I kind of like cinnamon.
It's not my thing.
I dig. Out of all these colors that we've looked at so far, that blue is my favorite.
That blue is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. The indigo is gorgeous.
Well, I'm not that vested in this.
No, hey, let's
argue about it.
I think the triple nickel it's gonna look best for what we're doing. Number one, and number two.
No,
I just wanted
to see what else was out there. We for sure, let's do triple nickel.
Okay, so stripes.
Well, I think we want to delete the satin black graphics package. And again,
it was just a glitch.
We say this over and over again. I'm not a stripes guy. These are not wallflowers. Any three of the cars that we've built are not wallflowers. We built the GT500 sans stripes.
No.
The ZL1 without stripes.
The GT500 is the only car out of the three that I think might look good with stripes, but it would really have to be
because of heritage, though. That would be my reasoning that Shelby's back in the day had the over-the-top stripes as an option.
I like the black hood, but not on this color. I think this color, the body color hood looks really nice.
I like the black hood. What I do not like is the black roof on this.
I don't like
that doesn't work. Like I love the Mustang with the black roof, not this.
If we were gonna option what looks great with the black satin hoods are things like Go Mango Orange.
Yeah, high impact colors for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. For a silver car, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Got to get hood pins, right? For $425.
They're probably vinyl. They probably stick on.
They're not even like
real. Believe me, the Mopar pins are real, and I don't like pins on modern cars because it's superfluous, and the car has hinges on the hood. So what do you need pins for? And a locking mechanism when you shut the hood. But if you're inclined to like pins, you definitely want to order it this way because Mopar offers those pins as an aftermarket little kit, and you have to drill holes in your $1,100 hood by yourself to install it.
Man, I've installed hood pins. I'm not afraid of a little.
Yeah,
hood
no,
I don't. I wouldn't even put them on this car, so I vote no.
No, I don't. Like if they were like arrow catches, I'd be like, hell yeah, because I think those things are so cool. But
doesn't the GT? Oh, it doesn't have pins. The GT500, but it does have like buttons or something you have to press. Greg,
I don't know. I've never opened the hood.
I think it has buttons that are actually visible on the hood that you have to depress for the hood to pop open instead of like something in the grill that you move around.
I always thought back in California, if they ever told me to pop the hood, after a traffic stop, just be like, I'm sorry, they're locking. I don't have the key.
Yeah,
there you go. For wheels,
know your rights.
The Warp Speed granite wheels are awesome and look great on silver.
Silver's got to have black wheels. I know you don't like black wheels, Rob, but I think silver and black goes well together.
On silver, I would go black wheels, and actually on Go Mango Orange, I would go with black wheels. Greg, if you scroll down a little further, the picture changes. So there you go. So you can see a close up of the wheel. You can tell how many times I've built cars on the Dodge website to know that.
I like the carbon black. I do.
What did you call them earlier, Rob? The bronze finish? Brass monkey.
They're called brass monkeys.
Yeah, those look good on the on that that
F8 green.
yeah, they look good on the green, and they looked really good on the that maroon, that like dark
cinnamon?
reddish.
Yeah,
No, the
octane.
octane. Yeah.
See, for me, I don't really know which black wheel I prefer. I think the top one, but the
Yeah.
bottom one's pretty cool too.
I like the lightweight one. I mean, that it's
Can
a
we
simple. I mean, yeah.
Can
we
I see the
go to
bottom
this.
one?
And you're saving money by,
I don't know if you can actually. I clicked it.
oh, it's not changing the image, is it?
Rotate the car, because I thought it was before.
No.
Hmm.
I actually think we should stick with the standard wheel as opposed to paying
Yeah.
$1,200 and $1,300 for
Yeah. I didn't even think
Agreed.
about the money. I like the way that looks.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. The red eye comes standard with red Brembos. I prefer red with silver. I just think
mean,
it looks badass, but you can get black, gray, or orange.
Well, I can tell you right now, my car has gray. I don't like it. It's too plain. The performance pack 6-piston upgrade are black, and I don't like that. So the only real option for me would be orange if we were going to do anything.
I like the red.
I prefer red to orange, and you say
Yeah, red, silver, and black looks cool.
Yeah. There's no messing with that. That's
got to do the P0s. You'll go through them. You know, if you're burning out and stuff, they'll last 6 months. But
see, I need the all seasons because we get snow, and like Vinny we were talking today after our meeting, and it was hailing here.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, it's monsoon. It's monsoons, man. It's crazy ass weather.
Hot
for 15
here
minutes.
in LA today, just hot and sunny. It was like 90 some odd degrees.
I definitely vote for the P0s.
Yeah, I mean, look at the price upgrade. $700. That's nothing for a good set of tires. Like, it's cheaper to buy all seasons.
Yeah, and when you burn those up, you could put a good set of Michelins on. If you all watched last week, there were Michelin tires on our.
Hopefully, they're not misaligned.
Michelin.
Again, why are we back to didn't they already offer us the black painted roof option?
No, you can get it the roof
by itself. Yeah,
it's a standalone without the hood.
Actually, I like it without the hood.
Do you?
Yeah, I like it when it's just the roof.
Not here. And I love the color combo. I don't think it works on this car. But
maybe if it had like some tiger claw marks on, like, across one of the headlights, like a vinyl graphic.
Can we also discuss the fact that this is $1,500 and on both other manufacturers is a $500 option?
$1,500.
Yep.
I mean, and we were tripping up on 500. And
Dodge, what is this all about? This is, come on,
dude, that better be sprayed with that Bantech black or whatever.
In the Dodge factory in Brampton, it probably has to come off the normal assembly line to paint the roof black. Whereas with the other cars, it's part of the standard, paint.
Oh, it's actually painted. It's not vinyl or anything.
No.
I mean, they're all the manufacturers are painted black. But I still, $1,500 is 3 times what Ford and Chevy want. And I mean, really, you can go to any wrap shop and they'll install the roof, with granted it's wrap, but for under $200.
You're preaching to the converted, pal, because I don't even like the black roof to begin with. So.
I think Anderson Composites makes a roof panel in carbon fiber for less than that.
Yeah, but that isn't like a cap. That's like you actually cut out your roof and.
I know.
Just saying. Because trust me, if it was just a cap, I would have one for my solar car because carbon fiber is gorgeous.
On the Scat Pack, we argued about the SRT performance spoiler, and Vinny won. I hate that spoiler, so this time we do without it.
Wait,
I like it, man.
Which one won last time?
the performance spoiler.
That one.
And I like the standard, much smaller.
It goes with the flares.
This one won. I thought that
No.
one won last time.
No,
No, the performance one, like it's more like a little duck bill. It like lays down. It sticks out past the trunk. It's cool.
you lose your Hellcat logo on the trunk of the car when you do the performance spoiler, and it really adds nothing in terms of downforce or anything like that.
You know how people will know it's a Hellcat? Blower wine.
There's that, but look at the price of the difference in spoiler. You're talking $1,000 for something that's not even functionally better.
Okay, you talked me out of it.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing: why are we fighting so much for economy on this car?
We're not.
No, because no. Okay, listen. We did on the other cars too, because we quibbled over something similar. I think it was a spoiler or it was something, and the price difference is why we elected to forego it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cheap out on this. I'm just trying to build it the way I would personally like it. And I just don't like that performance spoiler. And it's not selling very much. I don't see too many.
Remember last week, Greg, we talked about something just like this, and you said, "Oh, you can get it online. You know, you could buy a repopped one on eBay and just put it on there if you really want it for like $100."
I'm not putting in my opinion here because I don't particularly care for either one.
What do you want it to have? No spoiler, like an SXT?
No. I'm saying I don't like either one of these. I would be leaning towards like an aftermarket, probably Anderson.
Oh, that's right. For both of those other cars, you liked that giant big wang.
Yeah, I'm not talking about putting something like that on there, but like a nice subtle carbon duck bill from like Anderson.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, Greg. You would have the big, like, giant wing off the trunk, maybe even a roof spoiler, maybe like, you know, an
This thing
MR2 like roof vent.
This thing doesn't need any downforce. It has the ultimate downforce. A
It
fat
weighs
ass.
4,600 pounds. Yeah.
Gravity.
Yeah. So
But
okay.
it in, you know, all comedy aside, the standard spoiler looks pretty good in person. It's satin black. It's got that SRT logo and the Hellcat logo on the back.
I mean, I definitely like the contrast because one of the things I really like about getting the high performance pack Mustang is that it's got magnetic, which is the dark charcoal accent. So the wing, the rear view mirrors, and something else are all charcoal. You know,
Yeah.
so it's got that subtle, especially so the silver and charcoal. Obviously, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
It's cool. I actually might like it in body color. I don't know. It just seems kind of like puny.
Is that it for options, or is that just it for
No.
exterior?
No, you got to roll into the interior.
Yeah. I would do the Laguna leather in black. The Alcantara on Dodge cars, it's okay, but it wears a lot quicker than the Laguna leather, which is really, really nice, supple leather, very cushy.
So you said
Alcantara for me.
you said the
Laguna leather, the last selection, bottom.
oh, wait, that's not the Laguna though.
One more
that's-
down, one below.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was stuck on the Alcantara. Okay. So
Show me red. Yeah. With a silver car with red interior with red calipers.
that
like
would
it.
that would be
Wouldn't
sweet.
be my choice.
But so wait, so what's the Alcantara and Laguna? What is
That's an Laguna leather seat with an Alcantara
But it's-
insert.
so it's
under-
just black
Yeah,
on
so-
black.
yeah,
Yeah, but the outside bolsters are leather and then the inside
correct.
Okay, so there's
And when you select that, you get an Alcantara wrapped wheel as well. Whereas,
But
with
I'm
the
saying there's-
Laguna leather, it's a leather wheel.
there's no way to get an Alcantara option with the red.
No,
Okay, because
Okay.
I think Vinny won me over with the red because that does look pretty sharp.
in a silver car, that would look hot, man.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, living where I live, I think the Alcantara part would win.
well, that's.
I thought you could order a Hellcat with cloth.
It comes standard cloth.
Yeah, the houndstooth. This
yeah.
one, like
And
I
when
don't
you-
mind that.
when you pick an Alcantara or a leather package, it changes the console inserts to engine turned metal, and you get a leather stitch dashboard. The entire dashboard is leather.
I vote Red Laguna.
I vote Black Laguna.
I gotta lean towards red because I think it's cool. I think Vinny won me on that. So, I mean, personally, if I'm not doing Alcantara, I might as well be making a statement, right?
Hey, one thing that I didn't like about the Hellcat, and this is so dumb, the interior, the cup holders are tiny. I just want to put that out there. So if anybody at Dodge is listening.
Yeah, when you put your
Cup
foot
holders.
through the floor in this thing, regardless of the cups, the cup holder size, the cups go flying to the rear seats, my man. So
No, okay, so here's why I didn't like the size of the cup holder. I have an iPhone 10 and it didn't fit inside the cup holder, and that little crossbar between the two cup holders prevents you from sticking it into the cup holder, and there's nowhere else to put it.
yeah, there's like a cubby in the door, and that's about it.
I don't like my cell phone in the door. No.
I'm not messing with my phone, but I at least want it, handy.
Yeah.
Right. Got to do nav.
Oh wait, what are the
Yeah,
seat
we're-
inserts?
We're going red. That just.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Nav.
How much did that interior cost us?
Well, it adds a lot of other packages.
it didn't say. Dude, Dodge is very good about that. They're not showing the price difference.
Just build it first. We'll talk price later.
Well, the net price is in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, there we go.
If you
Okay.
Go to Houndstooth, you're going to see it's going to automatically deselect a couple of packages, and the price goes way down, because you can't just buy like the Laguna leather or Alcantara seat package. It comes with
It's $5,000.
but it comes with a technology package, and I forget what the other one's called.
Jeez.
Oh.
Oh man. So if you see someone driving a Hellcat with red interior, they're bawling.
Yeah, but it like I said, you'll see a little further down, it also adds a lot of tech equipment and stuff like that.
I like it.
I would actually skip the Harman Kardon because the base radio is an Alpine and it sounds pretty good. With the Harman Kardon, there's a subwoofer in the trunk which takes up space.
So you can only get 2 bodies in there instead of 3?
Yeah, exactly. And the Harman Kardon, it's a fine system, but it's really not $2,000 better than the Alpine, to be honest.
I'd go with that. I'd buy
Power
that.
sunroof.
Yes.
Gotta do the sunroof.
Let's see it.
Yes.
I like it for $2,000. I mean,
Wait, where's the?
You got to scroll all the way up. Yeah.
and I don't think it's going to show it to you.
It does on the side view.
Okay, so it doesn't do like the other 2 brands, or that's
No,
one.
doesn't to get rid of a cool divot on the roof or
Okay,
anything.
I'm all in on the power sunroof. Like you don't.
Demonic red seat. They charge you extra for the red seat belts.
Well, if you're gonna do red seats, you gotta do red seat belts, I guess.
It might be cool to contrast to have black seat belts.
Oh, look what just happened.
Yeah, so you can't get the red seats with the red seat belt.
Oh, that's probably because the red seatbelt comes with the package with the Laguna leather
Okay,
red.
well, it took away our Laguna red when we tried to do it. So
I don't like that. Yeah.
All right, so we're down to packages, and you'll see some are already selected. The plus package and the technology group, I believe, are automatically selected when you order the leather, which is why the total thing is like $5,000. Again,
It's the driver convenience group.
that's blind spot monitoring and
No, I'm saying that was the other portion that was automatically added.
now
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But then I saw the HID headlamps. I love those.
Yes, you gotta
Yeah.
use those.
And it gives you like blind spot indicators. Like, it's good.
I mean, and you
Yeah.
need that when you're driving a boat, you know, because you don't want to
Yeah.
accidentally run aground or anything.
Does it come with a foghorn too?
Like a boat horn.
But for real, look at the carbon suede interior package. You know how I feel about carbon fiber.
It is real carbon fiber.
No
I want to look
kidding.
All right. How do I?
That's pretty cool. I bet you can't get that with the Laguna package that we already selected.
You can.
Oh,
So it comes.
Actually, I'm not sure if you can do it with the red, but I know with the
ooh,
black.
I like that suede headliner. Yeah,
I mean,
like that.
$1,600. I'm kind of leaning towards yes.
Go for it.
Good. I mean, ball out.
And I would skip the technology group because all it's really bringing you is like radar, cruise control, and I mean, who needs that on?
What's the 1320 plus group?
Well, wait. This says the forward collision warning isn't even available with the red eye, and the adaptive speed control isn't available with the red eye.
Yeah, that's true.
So
And
you're going to pay
if you-
$1,300?
No. If you click add, the price of the package goes down. It's like $400 or $495.
Okay, still not worth it, but I got you. Okay.
I'm not sure what the 1320 group is. I think that's a new option.
It's a rear seat delete. It
Uh-huh.
adds a cargo net. Gives you front floor mats only.
Yeah,
Gets rid of your
And
rear seat belt. You know, a rear seat belt delete.
and it's
But it
$1.
shaves like 25 pounds.
Yeah,
It's
it's
$1.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
one of the things we talked about was the fact that this actually has a usable rear seat for human beings.
It's
Do
true.
we really want to delete this?
I wouldn't.
I'm not paying someone $1 to remove things from my vehicle.
The outrage in your voice. I'm not. And then down here, the best option of all, you can fit a 309 rear axle, which trims a good amount of time off your launches. Trust me.
But that's
What does it come with from factory? Like a 280 something?
To something. Yeah.
where are my 373s?
Well, this is an automatic, man. You can get a 393 rear with
Oh,
the
damn.
6-speed standard.
Okay,
Hellcat.
that's aggressive. So wait, now I see this is a click box. Can I just decide not to pay?
No, I'm afraid
Click.
not.
Click. I don't want to pay.
Try
And
Can I
think
just
clicking one more
notify the
time.
IRS?
Yeah.
It's like
Now I think I said this last time when we were doing the regular cars, but I love that they retained the name the Torque Flight.
Yeah,
I
cool.
love that.
it's heritage.
Yeah, I
That's
love
great.
that they retained that.
6.2 liter V8 supercharged high output engine.
Yeah.
I like it. What does it say about it, Greg?
It just says supercharged 6.2 liter Hemi V8 high output engine pushes the limits of performance, delivering unrelenting power. Oh wow, I breathed at the wrong time. I didn't look ahead to see that period. It features exceptional horsepower and torque on the SRT Hellcat Red Eye model.
I mean, those are big facts, but do we have like one of those little info buttons?
You do not, although there is a separate section that's not on the configurator, which tells you output and things
I got you.
like that.
What
It'd be cool to
blower
see
do
like a
these
cross section or something.
Do these run? Are these the 1900s or are they in the
It's
21s or what are they?
oh
23s?
dang! I was talking to Dustin Whipple about this the other day. I can't remember. I don't want to misquote him.
So I know they're running the. Well, oh, that's right. Didn't they pick up some kind of contract for Whipple?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the supercharger?
Yeah.
The stock supercharger? It's IHI is the manufacturer.
Oh, okay. Why did I think they ran Eaton's? Okay,
No, that's
I guess not
the,
everybody can run Eaton's.
Yeah, I was gonna
the
say.
difference between the Hellcat and the Hellcat Red Eye has more to do with the size of the supercharger than anything else. It's 2.3, I believe, on the Hellcat and 2.7 liter on the Red Eye.
Yeah,
and constitutes the bulk of that extra power. There's also a few other changes between the engine and the ancillary equipment, cooling, and so on and so forth. But the bulk of it is just the volume of the IHI supercharger.
Okay, so
We made that an expensive car.
Oh,
If I had optioned it myself, it wouldn't have gotten that high. I would have probably dumped the carbon fiber package.
it's only like $1,300.
It's $1,300.
I kind of like that engine turned look, which the carbon fiber replaces, because
I have engine turned in my car, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, it's just not.
I gotta
my
tell you,
bag.
I really like the car that we built. I would own this car. That's a bad car, man.
it's
Silver with red interior, carbon accents on the inside, black wheels, red calipers. That's a bad ride.
It's a good looking car for sure. It's just,
And
I mean, we know
you
it's not my cup of tea.
When we get into the discussion, when we're scoring this car, one of the things about it is, it is a big car. And I honestly, as a Mopar fan, wish they hadn't built it on the LC chassis, which is really like an SUV chassis. It originated from Mercedes-Benz when Chrysler and Mercedes were merged. It was the basis of their larger SUVs, the ML series. And it's a big car, but the plus side to it is the interior itself is great. The space, the usable rear seats, and I think that should all be coming to the equation once we rank it, score it rather.
Yep.
Look at Rob campaigning for his.
No, I'm not
his
campaigning
favorite
because
car.
I already know in my heart, I know which car should win in terms of pure, if it was about pure muscle car values, this probably wouldn't win in my mind. So I'm not selling it.
I think that's
me.
a great note
just-
for us to take a word from our sponsors on while we all berate Rob for his violation of the campaign policies set forth in the bylaws.
Performance parts for your American Classic are available from POL at performanceonline.com. POL is the perfect upgrade for your classic car or truck. Whether you're hitting the strip or going on a road trip, POL's performance braking, steering, suspension, fuel injection, exhaust, radiators, rear ends, and more are top notch and can be seen in our showroom floor. Cruise on down to our show-stopping showroom and take a look at our brand new Blackout Series parts, or order POL parts from performanceonline.com and have them shipped straight to your garage.
And we're back. Rob, that was so wholesome, man. It was heartwarming the way that I get it.
I call them like I see them. And although I am a Mopar enthusiast through and through, and everybody out there knows that, you got to call a spade, and I'm hoping in the next generation of Challenger, which will be coming in the next couple of years, they'll build it on the Alfa Romeo Giorgio platform, which is more akin to the size of the GT500 and the Camaro.
You don't think they'll use the Giulia platform?
I think Giorgio is the basis for the Giulia and the Stelvio, the Alfa SUV.
Okay,
that's what I've heard. I know some people inside, so to speak, and I'm hearing it's a much smaller architecture in the next generation. So, but then the question becomes, can a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that gets, 17 miles to the gallon, if you feather the gas pedal, is that going to survive the transition into the next generation? And I think I'd have to say probably not. It's going to have some onboard electric motors, owing to the upcoming CAFE standards and so forth. So this might be the last hurrah of, big time, just pure V8, gasoline internal combustion power for Dodge. So it's really the end of an era.
Until it's Mad Max time, anyway.
Yeah, until after the apocalypse, and we'll all be driving Hellcat
everyone
wide
has
body
Hellcat.
Challengers.
Well, listen, guys, it's time to do that thing we do and score this car.
All right, let me unshare this, and we'll get back so we're in debate mode now.
So we can all look at our beautiful faces, our beautiful bearded mugs.
All right. So we're ready for the first one?
The first one, as you guys know, is horsepower and torque. So, what did the GT500 make, Greg?
760. 760, 675.
And this makes 797 ponies. And I forget the torque figure on this, Greg.
Let
You'd
me
have to
pull
look
it up because it's not on the configurator for some reason.
No.
I think we all know where this one's going to land.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 5.
It's got to be.
There's no denying that. That's a 5.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Like, and wow, nobody's listing the torque. Why?
It's a secret.
I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's 707 foot-pounds, but I could be wrong.
It's unlimited. It makes all of the torque.
707. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So that's a 5. We all agree.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts on that. That's fine.
Next.
A Hellcat, a stump puller. Handling.
Now, I'll tell you something, Challengers get a bad rap because it's in a segment of the market where muscle cars are supposed to handle okay. They're not supposed to be sports cars, but they are supposed to be able to handle. But I'd argue with you, if we're talking about the tradition of muscle cars, handling had nothing to do with muscle cars back in the day. Because if you look at the original muscle car, which I think most of us would agree is the Pontiac GTO, it was built on a full-sized car, and the thing handled like, the Lusitania. It was not designed for anything but straight line performance. They shoved a big old V8. What's Greg holding up there?
We can't read it.
It says excuses.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm not. I haven't voted yet. I'm just saying.
You can spin it however you like, Rob.
Okay,
I like hearing what you're saying. Go ahead.
Let me finish my spiel.
Go ahead.
Number one, muscle cars traditionally did not handle well. Second of all, the Challenger handles a lot better than most people think it does. And when you get into the Hellcat range, it has its own bespoke suspension geometry. It has adjustable shocks, and through the Uconnect system on the center stack, you can fine tune the car well beyond what you can do with the Mustang and the Camaro. You can set the transmission, suspension, engine power, the rev limits, all of that stuff you can configure yourself and then program it. And it changes the dynamic of the car significantly. Now, obviously, this thing isn't gonna hold a candle to a GT500, but it's also not a slouch. I mean, I own one and I know what it's capable of doing. I will give handling. What did I give? Well, can you review the old numbers?
I don't have your specific numbers from last time.
Vinny, you have.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah. Oh, the ZL1.
Well, I have the ZL1. You gave it a. I do not actually. I have yours as a. Actually, I think you gave it a 4.
The ZL1.
I think you gave the ZL1 a 4.
And you gave the GT500 a 4.5.
Okay, so this is going to get a 3.5 for me in the handling. And if you look, Greg, if you care to, if you look at the skid pad numbers and stuff, it will surprise you, the road holding on the car, especially in the wide body version, because you got 305s all around on it. It holds its own.
Yeah, I think the main thing that you touched on, Rob, is that it handles better than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And it handles better than most of the people who are driving them are capable of pushing the car to, right? So yeah, it handles better than a lot of cars. Just not better than the GT500 or the ZL1. And that's what we're comparing it to. So as your rating indicates, I mean, you get it. So do I. I give it a 3.
That's where I am. It gets a 3.
That's where it was going to get dinged, compared to the others. I feel like we have to keep mentioning that, because it's not a poor handling car. It's just when you're comparing it to 2 of the best handling American sports cars on the market.
And really, its Achilles heel is not so much like a lack of technology in the suspension itself. What we're really talking about is that it's lugging around 600 extra pounds or 500 extra pounds over the other 2 cars. You could put a Ferrari suspension and just bolt it into a Dodge Challenger. It's still not going to handle as well as a GT500 or a ZL1 because of the sprung weight. I mean,
it's just got a lot more bulk. It's, it has more body roll than the other 2. It's just, that's just how it is.
I mean, do you want to know the skid pad number? I did pull it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So do you remember the other 2?
Yeah, 1.1.
111. Yeah, we're 111 and 116 or 113. I'm sorry, 0.93.
That's a pretty big difference.
But if you look, for example, at a Porsche 928 from the late 80s, it outhandles a Porsche 928. So like one of the world's top supercars doesn't
in 1980,
30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
We're not. I know, but we have to look at relative, not absolute.
I'm not arguing that fact. It got a 3.5 out of me, which was only a half point more than it got out of you guys. I
also want to mention, and this probably could be included in my X factor, but it's relevant right now. It's almost, for me, it's like the fact that you can back this thing in, you can slide it, you can break the tires loose and drive it like, pissed off teenager. It makes it fun, right? So like, even though I'm dinging it here, it's a really, really fun car to drive because of all that. So,
and very predictable also. You can feel it starting to break away. It's very progressive. It's not one of those cars like a 911 where, before you even know what's happening, you're looking at, the car's facing the wrong direction on the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's got good manners. It's just
it's a fun car to drift because drifting that much weight around is a hoot. Trust me.
Makes the snap transitions a little hard, but
it does. But it's a lot of fun. Next up,
comfort, convenience, interior amenities, etc.
5.
When compared to the others, I totally get it, man.
5. It's bigger. It's got every bell and whistle and some more that the other cars don't, including the ability to fine tune all the performance aspects of the car. The ergonomics are excellent. They did a great job redesigning the interior in 2015. For me, it's a 5, easy.
I'm going to score it high as well. I'll give it a 4.5, but, well, okay. So there, cockpit space, there wasn't much by way of storage, but I can't ding it that hard because the other ones don't really have that either. But the same thing with the GT500. The GT500 I scored high, and the Hellcat I will score high as well, but it doesn't have a heads-up display, and it's something that I really like, and I don't think it would be that difficult for them to include. So 4.5.
None of our cars had one, did it? Or does the ZL1 have one?
ZL1 did.
Yeah, the ZL1 has one.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, any track car, any car that anyone could conceivably want to take to a track should have a head-up display in 2021. I mean, just to have a rev limiter in front of you, a rev counter rather, it's an essential. I mean, I don't know.
One thing I really do like the interior on the Hellcat. I mean, you can get Alcantara on like everything, which I'm a big fan of. I know we chose the leather when we built this one, and that red looked really good.
You
But
can get
out-
the carbon and the Alcantara headliner. Yeah.
Exactly. It looks super nice. I think this might be, no, I think that's aftermarket, but you can get it through Dodge. It's like the rear harness bar.
Mhm.
Also, the like infotainment, like the center console display is really cool. There's a lot of like, that's one thing I love about Dodge is that they know who likes their cars and why. So like all the graphics that are, displayed, like the Hellcat logos and all that, they put a lot of thought into the way it works together. You have your information, like your screen with your gauges right in front of the wheel, and it works with what's going on over here in the center console. And then when you're making adjustments to you're selecting different modes and you're turning things on, driver assist on and off. There's a really cool, like retro futuristic kind of display where it shows you your drivetrain, and it'll light up in different colors based on what you have on and off. So if you turn it on a track mode, everything's red, right? So it's like, red. It's like a race car. And then when
it's
you
kind of like a cutaway, the graphics are the cutaway of a Hellcat showing the drivetrain. And as you select like suspension, you can go from green, comfort, yellow, which is like sport, and red would be track. Then the suspension elements on that little graphic turn red. And then,
exactly.
Then the transmission will change color. And then the engine changes color when you mess with each.
It might be it might be like a second kind of cool, kind of like a nerd out thing, but it's something that I really enjoyed. I like maybe it's just the kid in me, but I thought it was cool. It's like if you're building a model.
Yeah. The other cool thing that you can control from the center console, and I'm not quite sure where this would fit in our voting system, but of the 3 cars we've built, the Challenger is really the one that has the most like toys on it in terms of line lock. You can reroute the coolant through the air conditioning unit, the Freon, to cool down the coolant after you do runs, like quarter-mile runs and stuff. It's called an after chiller. It's got all these things that originated on the Demon, and the best part about it is you can switch them on and off using the center console screen. So
I all of that, I give it a 4.5. Greg, where are you at, man?
I don't want to be overly harsh on it, right? I only gave the Mustang, which is perfect to me, except for that knob, a 4.7. I gave the ZL1 a 4. I don't like the Hellcat interior as much as I like the ZL1, but that's also subjective.
Are you just talking about like aesthetics or
aesthetics, comfort, sitting in it? Like, I mean, it definitely has more visibility. Yeah, it has more visibility. It feels a little bit rental car-y. I don't know if that's not right. Sedan.
Hellcat?
Yeah, the Hellcat. It just,
I'll admit, like the SXTs, like the lower end models with cloth seats, it's pure rental car.
well, I mean, I'm thinking Vinny's Red Eye. Like,
yeah,
it was, and it's not quality thing. When I say rental car, I don't know how to explain it. It's not, rental car isn't right. It's,
you
like
think just
sedan.
like is it like generic or what's
it's too big. Like I need a sports car that hugs me, and it's like you're in a Camry. You know what I mean?
okay,
like,
but you're praising it for having a roomy back seat and visibility,
absolutely.
but at the same time you're dinging it for not being cockpitish enough.
I'm dinging it on my personal feeling, like versus,
and that's what this is about.
But that's the thing. If I give it my personal feeling, it gets less than the ZL1, and that's not fair because it has more positives than the ZL1. Like, so I have to take a little bit of my opinion out of it because I might be being overly harsh because I'm not a super, like, it just doesn't tickle me. So I mean, it's to me, it's got to be above 4. but it's got to be below 4.7.
Well, there you
I,
go.
I bracketed myself, so it's got to be like a 4.3, just because I'm going to be pedantic. But I mean, realistically, a 4.5. Like it's.
I already wrote down 4.3.
Okay,
Come on.
that's fine.
What's going
I mean,
on here?
it just doesn't wow me. Like I hate it. Like it's good on paper, it's great. It kicks some ass. Like the back seats, they're usable.
Hey, listen, man. When we selected that red, you were into it. So
yeah, but I mean,
and you gave it a 4.3. So that's a pretty damn good score.
okay, all right.
Don't beat yourself up about it. It's
I'm
okay.
trying to be fair.
All right. All right. Moving on. We got performance, i.e., quarter mile time, 0 to 60, braking, etc.
It comes between the GT500 and the ZL1, but I don't remember. I think I gave the GT500 a 5.
You gave, yep, we all gave it a 5.
And what did I give the ZL1?
3.5. Greg gave it a 4, and I gave it a 4.2.
I'll give it a 4. The red eye a 4.7.
0.7. Okay.
It's
like,
slower in the quarter mile than all of them, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's slower in the quarter mile. It's slower around a racetrack. It takes longer to brake. To me, it's across all metrics. It's not as good, except for like power output, right? Like it's a beast. And when you're driving it, like it feels really fast because the torque curve is it comes in so early. So it feels like it's the most powerful out of all three of them. But that's, I think, because it's less refined than the other two.
Well, it is the most powerful of the three of them.
But it's also the fattest.
It's the heaviest, yeah, and that's
no.
That
it's
harks
the
back.
fattest.
It's a wide car, it's a long car, it's heavy. But you're right, Rob. It is the most powerful, and you feel it when you drive it.
Greg, were you spelling fat PHAT or?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Here's the thing. Like, let me just throw this out there, right? Nobody denies that a Olympic power lifter, is the strongest dude on the U.S. Olympic team, right? The power lifters are the strongest. They are not the best athletes. You know what I mean?
If you're measuring their ability to lift heavy things, they are.
Yeah, if you're measuring one thing, but if you were just like, who's the best athlete? Just to use the word athlete. I think a better analogy for what your qualms about the Hellcat would be to say those power lifters are the strongest, but they don't have 6-pack abs. They're not flexible.
They
can't do a back
category.
I'm just saying, like, it's the most powerful, but to you, Greg, it's a big car. It's not, it's as svelte as the other two.
And that's why it got a 5. That's why it took class leading in power. Actually, making that power work, it doesn't do as well as the other two.
Agreed. That's where I'm at with it too. So for this one, I'm going to score it lower than I did the ZL1, which I scored a 4.2. So I'm going to give this one a 4.
I changed my vote because I actually didn't realize that the ZL1 was quicker in the quarter. I thought the red eye was the quicker car.
Hold on, let me double check that.
Metric,
if you're gonna change, let me double check that.
Yeah, because that was a new fact to me.
Oh, okay. This is okay.
And make sure you're looking at the wide body also.
Yeah, I'm getting 11.3, 11.4 for the ZL1, which is not as quick because the
red eye will do.
Well, hold on. I'm pulling Dodges. Let me look at independent, not Dodge.
Well, yeah, but where'd you get the ZL1 info from?
the ZL1 info is from not Chevrolet.
Mm.
Not
That's
Chevrolet.com.
No, it's Motor Trend, and where was the other one?
Wow.
Motor Authority. Okay, so
They must
actually it is that it looks
faster
like
than the
there's
ZL1.
there's a 0.2 difference.
Okay, so
So
it's slightly faster than the ZL1 in a quarter mile.
Yeah.
I'll lower mine instead of 4.7. I'll go 4.5. But it was my understanding that in terms of acceleration, the GT500 was going to be top. The Hellcat Red Eye in the middle, and then the ZL1 at the bottom.
And it is.
Okay. I still give it a 4 because while in the quarter it bests the other two, or at least the ZL1. The rest of the metrics it's lacking, right? So like 0 to 60, well, 0 to 60 will probably beat them too, but like braking, and also, I think this goes back to handling when we talk about how fast it is around a racetrack and stuff like that.
Greg?
Performance for me is just, it's all around, and it doesn't do any of it as well as another. With all the technology and shit, I feel like it should be a 5, because they have thrown the kitchen sink at this car. But it doesn't.
Just sadly, it's like I said, it's the original sin that they put this on an SUV chassis, and it's 4,600 pounds. There's just no way to get around it.
Yeah.
And but the other two manufacturers have used that same time, right? The 12, almost 13 years now to develop new. The Mustang has what, two more body styles, 2 revisions since the Challenger came out, and the Camaro has one with like a sort of update.
Right, but there's a reason for that. And with Dodge, it wasn't driven so much as towards improving the car as it had to do with the fact that Challengers sell like hotcakes.
And dude, kudos to them, because they are outselling the Mustang and the Camaro still by leaps and bounds.
And I think they made, what in terms of compared to the changes Ford, for example, made to the Mustang over the same period of time, you would consider the Challenger modifications to have been kind of small. But if you look at the continuum of the car, like from 2008 until now, they've gone from a 5-speed piece of crap automatic transmission to the ZF8, which is one of the best autos there is. They've refreshed the interior completely. They've offered the car in now, originally it was a 6.1 liter V8 with 425 horsepower in the SRT. Then they went to the 392 being the top engine with 470 horsepower and torque. And then the Hellcat, and then the Hellcat Red Eye.
Yeah,
so
they've
made a lot of improvements. What they haven't done is change the basic chassis.
Exactly.
And I'd argue if they had, and we were talking about a Hellcat Red Eye that was 6 inches shorter and about 400 pounds lighter, and still have that 6.2 liter Hemi in it, it'd be blowing the doors off the GT.
Yeah, well, hey, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they never did it. They never.
Yeah,
it's a shame, because I think you're totally right.
Yeah, they never addressed the original sin, is that this thing is built on an SUV chassis, and it's huge and it's heavy. Yeah, and
well, it'll be exciting to see what comes next.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of all that, I still have to give it a 3. I mean, it's
a 3.
It gets a 3.
That's rough.
Well, no. Hold on.
It goes faster 0 to 60 and quarter mile than the other two, but it gets a 3.
Dude, but that doesn't mean that is
I
the
know.
only metric of performance.
I know.
And the reason it gets a 3 is because they have managed to make that a svelte fatty. Like, for all the reasons it does what it does while being overweight, that's what at least brings it to a 3. Because
I
feel
can't-
like,
I think
I
it's a
can't-
little harsh.
I feel
Yeah,
I genuinely feel compared to the ZL1 and compared to the GT500, it's me running against some track athletes. You know, like my technique may be good, but I'm not gonna be doing it anywhere near as well as them.
You know, this is the only category out of all 3 episodes where we've done where I really disagree with you. Like,
Yeah, me
pretty
too.
much down the middle. I think you're shooting low.
I mean, I
Yeah.
knew I was going to be harsh on this platform, but I really feel like it's a 3. I mean, I only gave the ZL1
Listen,
a 4.
it's your points. You can give them or take them as you see fit. But I'm with Rob. I think you scored that one way low.
I just
I don't
feel
know.
like take 400
Dude, it's
pounds,
still-
take
it's an-
400 pounds out of it, and it'll get a 4.
Look, it could be better. Technically, they could all be better. But given, I mean, you look at the performance compared to
look how
like
slow it is.
other vehicles.
Look at how slow it is around the Nürburgring. Like,
Okay, but it's faster than a lot of other cars, just not these other 2, right?
exactly, but that our frame of reference is these other 2. It's these 3. This is our universe here, right here. Anything outside of that universe should not be affected, right?
I don't think so, because you still have to have like a basis for measurement, right? So it's like, is it a fast car? Yes. Is it as fast as these other 2 cars? No. Well, in some ways, but you know what I mean? So while, yeah, I agree, we're measuring it against these 2 other cars, and so that should factor into your score. We're also referencing our entire experience behind the wheel of a car. Any car.
And I feel like 797 horsepower should not be an 11-second car. Coming from the drag racing world, that is an abomination.
Well, I happen to know guys who have run bone stock red eyes, subbing out the P0 rubber for some actual decent track oriented rubber, not slicks, but track oriented rubber, who are sub 11 bone stock in these cars.
But still,
tune,
I mean,
no.
I mean, I come from a world where a 10, like literally, 10 cars are making 350 horsepower because the chassis are so well set up.
I don't know, man. I think you dinged it hard, and I'm not alone. And I think our viewers will probably agree with me and Rob. Let us know in the comment section below. So now that we've established that Greg was wrong about performance, we get to move on to the price.
Well,
90 G's, man.
Here's the thing, guys. We are all along. We've been given numbers based price as built, right? And although the last episode that we did, I waxed philosophical and went on and on about having a problem paying $100,000 on a Mustang. And I got to admit, I'm a man of principle. I also happen to be a Mopar fan, and I love this car, but I got a problem paying 90 grand on a Dodge, just like I had 100,000 on a Mustang. We're getting into serious dollar figures. Now, mind you, we're also getting into serious horsepower, serious performance. None of these cars are by any metric slow or lacking in anything that, European competitors to these cars have, like, let's say AMG Mercedes or BMW M-Power vehicles. The red eye and the GT500, you have to get into mid 6 figures out of Europe to get that kind of power in a car. But, a Mercedes is a Mercedes and a Dodge is a Dodge. And I can't get around that because, that 6 figure, and granted, we're pushing 6 figures. We're only at 90 with this car. But in the case of the Mustang, you know, you're paying six figures and you're not getting what the Mercedes also gives you, which is a vault-like build quality, which is top interior, appointments, leathers, no, like zero plastic in the insides of Mercs and BMWs at that price range. You're getting a lot more than just flat out power. Now, I get it, for American manufacturers to be able to compete performance wise with those cars, corners have to be cut, because Americans, you know, wages are such that they just, you know, they can't build the same level of car for the same price point as the Europeans do. And but $90,000 is really dear. That's a lot of money on a muscle car. We could have built this car a number of different ways. We should mention that a base Hellcat wide body with the same equipment would come in the mid 70s. And you can have that car with a manual transmission if that's what you prefer. But $90,000 isn't cheap. And I think I gave the GT500 a 3, if I'm not mistaken, for price. I'm gonna go 3.5 on the Dodge. It's not much better. You're talking 10 grand, you know, difference.
Yeah, so I agree with a lot of what you said, Rob, but I actually, the most important point is that you have an issue with the you know, approaching that $100,000 mark, and I would, for me, I would feel better about paying closer to 100 grand for that GT500 than I would paying 90 for this car. Also, if you were to build a base, like you said, or something closer to a base, you could build one for, you know, in the $70,000 range, high 70s. For that same money, I could buy a ZL1, a very well optioned ZL1. So it loses there too.
And if I might interject, you know, you could also buy the new mid-engine Corvette, which blows all three of these cars away in base form. We haven't even gotten a Z06, let alone a ZR1 yet. And that car will outperform all three of these cars. And it's like 60 grand. I mean, Chevy just blew everybody's mind.
That's Chevy, man. That's the brand. General Motors has just, you know, a lot of people don't like them for that, because they're like, oh, well, you know, the Chevys are so basic, you know, especially in the classic car world. But that's their thing, right? Affordable cars that perform and last a long time. So, I give this one I gave the GT500 a 3, and I believe I gave the ZL1 like a 4 or 4 point something.
4.5.
So yeah, I'll give this one a, wow. This hurts to do it, but I'm going to give it a 2.8.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to score it lower than the GT500 because, like I said, I personally would feel better. I think you're getting more for the money, even at that high price point, given those two cars.
I think that's the lowest score, you know, in all three cars that we've gotten.
Yeah, that's the first time any of them have been out of the 3s.
Yeah, and that's it. I feel bad giving it that score, but you know, based on the other scores I gave, that's where I'm at with this one.
Where are you at, Greg?
I mean, I agree with Vinny, just as far as the reasoning. I would feel much better about giving $96,000+ to Ford for that GT500 than I would about giving them $90,720 for this car. But
oh, you know what we forgot to mention? The price on the Dodge website included the gas guzzler tax, whereas the
GT500 did not. Yeah,
GT500 was net. So it's really like you're comparing 89,000 to.
This does say net. This says net price.
Yeah,
So
but
I
one of
don't-
the selections is the gas
Yeah.
guzzler tax.
But
Yeah.
I'm wondering, does Ford roll that in
I don't
like
know.
somewhere? Because I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I see what you're saying
But-
though, Rob. They might
yeah.
be a little bit farther apart than we're
But still,
actually realizing.
but still, at the end of the day, I can't ding it. I can't give it, because I mean, I only gave the GT500 a 3 because it was just so much money. I can't give it less than that just because I don't like it. That doesn't mean it's not a good value. I mean, I gave the ZL1 a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have to change mine back to a 3.
It's got to be a 3. I mean, yeah, you know what? It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for a lot of car. But at the end of the day, it's still,
Well, it's, if you don't want to say it's a lot of money for a lot of car, you could at the very least say it's a lot of money for a lot of power.
Yeah.
And
well, I do think it's a lot of car. I mean, because I do. I don't think there's any. I'm not saying it's not worth $90,000. I'm just saying it's not a good value. And so I got to rate it the same as the GT500, which is a 3.
I think for me, the reason that I had scored it a little bit less is because it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Rob, right? Like, so in the time that Dodge has made all of those sales, selling these Hellcats or selling these Challengers, the other two have used that time to, invest in engineering. While it's probably cost them more than, they made, or it's probably cost them quite a bit comparatively. That's why I feel the GT500 is a better value, even though you're paying more, right? It's basically the pinnacle of the performance of the 3 cars that we're talking about, or at least that segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the best. We all agreed that it got 5s across the board in the beginning. That's the best one you can get. And so that's why I gave the edge to the GT500 as far as price and / value. But I also feel bad because of what Greg was just saying, right? Like, it's a freaking great car, it's a great car, and you're getting a lot of performance for that money. But yeah, I think I'm right there with you guys. I raised mine from a 2.8 to a 3, but anyways.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of car. I mean, that's just the way I feel. And then this next one is the one where
yeah, Greg's
I'm gonna have to say no disrespect a lot, because I'm not gonna say some pretty disrespectful stuff.
I forget what the category is.
It's availability, exclusivity, status, collectability, or X factor.
I think, if I recall correctly, in my past assessments on the Ford and the Chevy, I gave the speech about how none of these cars are really exclusive, because if you've got $90,000, $100,000, or in the case of the ZL1, $77,000 burning a hole in your pocket, you can get one. It's not like the Demon, where if you didn't have the money then, it's too late now. You have to buy a used car. Or, the Copos that were built in the past, however many years, they only made a certain number of them. If you didn't have the money, or if you did have the money and just didn't pull the trigger, you're out of luck now. The Hellcat Red Eye is no more or no less rare than either of the other cars. So whatever I gave for the other cars, I think I gave a 3 on each. Vinny, you can double check that.
Yeah, you did. And I scored the ZL1 pretty low on those.
It was a 3 across the board on the ZL1.
Yeah, and then Greggy scored the GT500 higher because of the X factor.
I go 3 again. I mean,
okay.
You can order one tomorrow if you have the money and you want it.
Well, so I think, like, as far as exclusivity is concerned, it's a non-factor. It's not. A lot of people have them. They're everywhere. People own Challengers in general. They've been around for 13 years. The Hellcat's been around for a little while. A lot of people own them. A lot of people doing cool stuff with them. A lot of people doing dumb stuff with them. So it gets dinged there. But it's like kind of a wash because they're accessible, right? Like you can find one on the used market. You can get them. So I like that. That's cool. The X factor is where I'm going to give the Hellcat a little bit of a bump. It's just hellaciously fun to drive. And that's like my X factor. We talked earlier about handling and like, where the Hellcat finds the limitations of a tire's ability to grip. Yeah. That point directly intersects with like on a chart of fun, and so I like that. Yeah, exactly.
Miles per gallon as opposed to miles per gallon. Yeah,
exactly. It's a super fun stoplight to stoplight car. It's carries some notoriety, it's just a cool freaking car. And so I give it an extra point for that. So I'm going to be at 3.5.
Young Gregory.
Since Vinny changed his score earlier, I might be the first two. There are 3 challengers on my street. Let's start off with that.
But not just a challenger. Are they Hellcats?
I mean, honestly, you're $12 in badges from eBay away from having a Hellcat. I mean, I'm not.
No, it's relative because people do that.
Yeah, it's not that
quite often.
Like a GT500 is probably a little more difficult, to copy in an EcoBoost, right? The Hellcat, you can copy it in SXT pretty easily.
It would cost money.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, a couple STEMI checks and you're good to go, right?
Well, that the hood alone on the the Hellcat and the Red Eye, the dual snorkel hood is pricey.
And how much can I get it for on eBay, bro? Like that. Yeah. That's my point. I'm not talking about people who are going to tastefully modify their car. I'm talking about people who literally get their stimulus check and go to eBay and order up splitter guards and
right, up badgers.
Yeah. The splitter guards. There's another thing that just bothers the crap out of me. So that's your people that are going to have to account for that. Those are your people.
My people.
Those are your people, and you've got to account for them. But I mean, honestly, it is the most pedestrian, and I don't mean pedestrian in its looks, and we'll get to the looks, later. But it is the most common. It is, and maybe that should be scoring it higher because it is the everyman supercar, super muscle car, right? I have seen more Hellcats than I have seen any other car of its caliber ever.
I'll go one better. I've seen more Hellcats than ZL1s and GT500s on the road combined.
Oh, yeah, I can say
by a large margin.
Literally, but I've seen one GT500 and I've seen 2 ZL1s.
I've seen 0 GT500s on the road. So, but that begs the question, is that a bonus or a detraction?
In my eyes, it's a detraction.
Okay.
In my eyes, that makes it common. That
you're watering down the cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also argue that it outsells the other two because it has more market appeal than the other.
And that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As an enthusiast, maybe
Greg wants to be special.
I do. Yes.
If I spend 90 grand, I want to be special too.
Yeah.
Special.
I mean, literally, this
special Greg.
These things seem like they're a dime a dozen. I mean, obviously they're not a dime, but I mean,
I get what you're saying, dude. You know what? You spend that much money, you don't want everybody to have what you have. I get it.
And remember, I was just talking when we were talking about color yesterday. It was funny. I saw an F8 green Challenger, and I was, I even said, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow to Jamie. I live in a small town. I shouldn't see this many Challengers.
And that's probably like the rarest color too,
Yeah.
or one of the more rare.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually, I think the rarest color is that yellow. It's I
The
forget
gold one?
name of the color, the gold.
Yeah, because no one likes it.
I saw 2 of them this weekend up here.
Oh man.
Really?
Seriously, I'm not even talking about going down to Phoenix, just up here.
Yeah.
I got to give it a 2.5. It just
Oof.
I know
Nice.
the exclusivity. I mean, there's some X Factor stuff, sure, but again, it needs to be a little more special and a little more
Jeez,
exclusive.
I want to raise my score just to balance that out. Jeez.
I'm just saying, we
Yeah.
knew. I've been saying since day one, this was the part where I was going to be harsh.
No, I know.
I don't mean it to be mean, but
Hey, I'm not surprised.
but damn, like it's just, yeah. So the
Everybody
first
quit buying Challengers so Greg can like them more.
Mhm.
I mean,
All right.
So,
And buy
yeah,
more
that's-
GT500s to take them off his pedestal.
Yes, so that I can buy one used, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, we got to talk about looks here. Rob,
Looks.
I
mean, are
think I
we
know.
haven't been giving numbers to looks, have we?
Yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
have? That's
Yeah.
one of the categories. I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gave the ZL1 a 4.5, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. In 2006, I'm probably one of the few people on the planet who still has a print subscription to Road and Track, Motor Trend, and Car and Driver. I don't know why, because you can get all the same articles online. I still like to have actual car magazines that I can touch and feel and read off of. And in 2006, I got I think it was Car and Driver in the mail. And on the cover was a Hemi orange Dodge Challenger show car. And I saw that. And mind you, we're talking about 2006. It was advertised on the cover. Dodge brings back muscle car glory with new Challenger, 425 horsepower. And that was a lot of power in 2006. Okay.
Yeah.
And I looked at that, and although the pre-production show car ended up looking quite different from the production version of the Challenger, I knew when I saw that magazine cover, I was like, I have to have that. I have to have it because my really favorite muscle car of all time was an E-body Barracuda, which obviously the Challenger shared a platform with, and a lot of general styling cues, even though the two cars shared no real aesthetic parts, just driveline parts. And I always wanted a CUDA, and CUDAs are hard cars to find. Even junkers, E-body CUDAs are tough because they made relatively few of them. And I said, I have to have it. And then when I saw the production version, I was driving a BMW 335 coupe, twin turbo, fast as hell with a 6-speed manual. Best gearbox and clutch I've ever had in any car I've ever owned was that BMW, fast as lightning. And I traded it in for my Challenger. I waited because I knew they were going to improve the drivetrain and stuff like that over time. And I waited to 2011 to buy one. But it was that look, man. They just captured that E-body look in the hips and the design cues, the quad lamps, the concave grille. It is the best retro design ever done in a modern car. And I still feel that way. And I think they've improved the looks, certainly the interior and little exterior touches as well. The LED headlamps, or tail lamps rather, to evoke the 71 model. They've improved it. I think it's better looking now than it was when they released it in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
And because of all that, I give it a 5. It's just one of my favorite looking cars.
Okay.
No surprises there, Rob. I think we all knew how you're going to score it, and rightfully so. I think it's a
really
beautiful
well
car.
articulated. Like,
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
that was definitely not.
That's why I get the big bucks writing articles for Street Muscle, right?
That's
Well,
definitely not. I'm a fanboy. I love Dodge number 5. Like, right?
No.
Like that.
No,
was,
hey, listen, you're right, Rob. I think it set the world on fire when it came out. Everyone was like, "Holy crap, that's a good looking car, man." That said, its looks did start to fade a little bit for me, right? Like it's staring at the same car for a lot of years now. The update was much needed. I really appreciate the wide body, and that's why, because I think it was due. They needed to spice it up. I was getting tired of them, and they came out with the wide body, very cool. The different iterations of the hood that they've used on the Hellcats, and now like on some of the lesser models like the RT or the RT or the RT Scat Pack. Thank you. Very cool. You know, it's like we talked about earlier, kind of that AAR style hood. Some of like the reverse venting that the Hellcats have had. Very cool. The halo lamps in the front, all of that, very, very cool. So I was appreciative of that. So at first I was going to ding it because I was like, well, you know, it hasn't changed much. But then I started really looking at some of the things that they have changed, and they were subtle, but cool. And then you look at the interior. You mentioned this earlier. The car that came out in 2009 is not the car that we see now. You get in the car and they're completely different animals. I mean, the center console, the dash, the interior, like the seats, all of it so much. The technology, all of it so much freaking better. And so all of that factors into my score. I give it a 4. I think it's pretty freaking sharp car.
Okay. That's fair. Well, Rob did nail it with when we're in the midst of the retro stuff, right? You know, with the S197 coming out, and then the Gen 5 Camaro, which didn't really win the retro. It looked good, but it didn't win the retro.
I thought it was really close to the 69 Camaro. Not to divert you from the...
Yeah, there were aspects of it, like as far as the big 3 retro designs, you have to say the Camaro kind of came in third.
Yeah.
Really? I thought the Mustang was better?
Yep. Retro was, yeah. As a sports car, no.
They don't look, you know what's interesting about that generation of Mustang, what was it, Greg, 2005?
5 to 9.
05, yeah.
They look, that first gen of the retro design looks like crap now. It didn't age well to me.
No, it didn't. And that's what I'm saying. The 5th gen Camaro still looks pretty good.
Yes, it does. But it's not
comparatively, yeah. But neither one of them to me aged as well as the Challenger. I mean,
I actually feel differently about that. I feel like that Challenger did not age well.
Really?
And not because it doesn't look good, just because it's, I mean, the same thing I say about the S197. The S197 now, the early ones look kind of boring now. This still has some boring aspects to it. But I need to temper that with, I still like the way the Challenger looks. Like, just pure, you know, like not comparing it to anything. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little boring though. I mean, the thing is, like, look at my other scores. 5, obviously, for the GT500. The ZL1 is a sharp car. That got a 4.5. I don't think this is at the level of the ZL1, but it's not bad. Like, it's nothing less than a 4 for sure. But while they killed it on the retro, it hasn't, like, the subtle details are great for you guys because you guys love Mopars. I don't pay close enough attention to them to notice the subtle details. And as a gross package, it hasn't changed in my eyes, you know, much at all.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that one bit. They should have, in 2015, when they did the refresh of the interior and added the Hellcat models, they really should have gone to a different architecture, you know, done a full ground up new car, and they didn't. And like I said before, that was propelled by sales. They couldn't get rid of them, fast enough. They couldn't build them fast enough.
Yeah.
And, Fiat Chrysler was a struggling company financially after the 2008 financial meltdown, and they put their money into updating a car, gradually, as opposed to doing what they really should have done in, let's say, 2015, which was to issue a totally new model.
Yeah. And again, the wide body, not the biggest fan of. I mean, I give it a hard time because they do look pretty plain, but it does, make the car look a little different. It differentiates the car. I don't know if I would choose them other than for the performance aspect, but again, I can fit 305s with wheels without
the wide body.
Yeah. So I'm not forced into the wide body. Like, nobody's got a gun to my head saying you have to have these flares. But so I got to give it a 4 because it's still, I'm looking at the car right now. Like, that's why I'm looking off screen. It is definitely not a bad looking car. It just isn't as wow as the other two.
It's just not fresh anymore. I think you can sum it up as just saying they really need to redesign it. I would love it, actually. And there's been rumors for over 10 years now. About 10 years ago, someone on one of the Mopar forums let us all know that Dodge had actually re-trademarked the name Barracuda or Cuda. And so all these rumors started flying that the Hellcat was actually going to be a Dodge Cuda as opposed to a Dodge Challenger, and it would be on a smaller platform and and none of that came to pass. Whether they had actually worked in that, endeavor at Dodge, we'll never know, but it never came out.
Well, companies do that all the time. They'll trade. Companies do that all the time. They'll purchase trademarks.
It's
usually to own it.
It's usually for T-shirts and coffee mugs. Really, but everybody wanted to believe that there was a new Hemi Cuda coming because it's such a legendary name and such a beloved car amongst Mopar fanatics, and it never came to pass. I would really love it in 2023 or 2024. I think is the current rumor, when the new Challenger comes out, that it's a Cuda.
Yeah,
that would be so cool.
Do it, and also please come out with a Ram Charger.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah, dude. Man, how cool would that be? Good Lord. I love the Cuda.
Having the gills like on a 71 Hemi Cuda on the fenders, just like do it and make it 8 inches shorter, make it 450 to 500 pounds lighter. If
and they have, they could. They could.
Why did they?
They could.
Why did they mess up? Why did they mess up the Dart so bad? It could have been so much better.
I got nothing for you there, dude. Like nothing. They took a classic nameplate, and who doesn't love like an early 70s Dart when they were 340s in them and 383 Magnums in them? Those were demons, man. They were great little cars. And to make a subcompact with a lazy inline 4,
they put a nameplate, an iconic nameplate on a Cavalier.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it is as bad as, remember when a Cadillac GM took I forget what car it was based on, but they slapped the Cadillac Cimarron name on, I think it was a Chevy or an Oldsmobile, and they wanted an entry-level Cadillac, and they totally diluted their brand by doing
it. God, it was so bad.
Because Cadillacs were always supposed to be top of the line, and it was literally the crappiest car you ever saw in your life. It was gone in like one model year, I think. They just had warehouses full of Cimarrons.
They pop up on Craigslist every now and again, and people are just trying to give them away. They're just turds.
Like a bag of free potatoes with your purchase or something. So that was a misstep. misstep. That was a big misstep.
I was so excited when I heard that they were coming out with a Dart too. I was overseas at the time, and I was like really shopping for a car. I think I mentioned to you guys I had went and talked to the on-base dealer for Ford, and I was looking at the 5.0. And so I was like really excited, like, oh, cool, the new 5.0, this thing's awesome. And I was like, oh, they're coming out with a new Dart too? Oh, I got to see this thing. And then, no. Take it back.
From the styling to the drivetrain to the point that they never even bothered to make an SRT version.
I was so excited, and I saw that. And I was like, no, take it back.
Yeah, and the fact that they never bothered to do an SRT version.
That's what I was waiting for.
That tells you how much they believed in it.
Do you remember how what a piece of garbage, but how successful the neon SRT4 was?
Yes, and those things were fast.
Dude, and you could make them even faster. Like they were easy to modify and crank the boost up and all of that stuff.
You know
Never
how you
bothered on the Dart.
You know how you piss off an SRT4 owner? Call it a neon. It's not a neon.
It's an SRT4, man.
Or even take it a step further and call it what were they? The Plymouth.
They were the Plymouth Neon. They were all neon.
Yeah.
They were neons by all the different brands. Yeah.
They didn't have their own. Wow.
There's the Plymouth Neon and the Dodge Neon.
Dude, they were such pieces of crap.
Yeah, huge misstep. The Dart. Who could account for it? I don't know what market segment they thought they were going after, but they missed it, by a mile.
Yeah.
So,
that was.
They should have called us. We know more.
We know more. We're smart. We're like smart and stuff.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's in the category of the Mach-E, right? Where they just tried to cash in on a nameplate.
Oh, yeah.
Are Mach-E's selling?
Yes.
I saw one today.
I've seen a couple of them on the street. I saw that powder
seems like
blue.
they're not. Yeah, it seems like they're not bad cars from the initial reviews.
I figured they weren't going to be. I never once thought this is going to be a terrible vehicle. I never thought that. I just always thought like, man, I was hurt. Why'd you guys call it?
Just call it anything you want. Call it a Ford Sonic. Call it, a Ford Football. I don't care what you call it. Just don't call it a goddamn Mustang.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before, but they should have called it a Model E. And I know there's the whole Tesla thing, but they had the Model T, the Model E. They could have built heritage ads. I mean, there's a whole marketing campaign that just builds itself. Like
you're on the Ford forums. Did people like lose their minds when they called it a Mustang? Were they pissed beyond belief?
Well, the first thing that happened was somebody picked up again that a patent lawyer, one of the IP lawyers at Ford, had registered Mach 1. And Ford initially announced that they were going to call it the Mach 1, not the Mach E. Oh. And everybody, I mean, like full on petition. Like Ford, like when they canceled Jericho, and everybody like lit the studios up. Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. There was like their back down was to call it the Mach E instead of the Mach 1. But then again, we don't know if they were really going to call it the Mach 1 or they were just doing it for the Mach 1 that's here now. Because they might have just been thinking ahead,
like as a tease or
something. So they might not really back down from anything. They might not have actually been doing.
There are so few holy grail names in the world of muscle cars. I mean, you've got the Judge, you've got Hemi Cuda, you've got and bigger than all of those is Mustang. Forget about models of Mustang, Boss 302, Boss 429. Just the word Mustang is holy grail stuff. You don't slap that on an SUV. You just don't do it.
Like I would have been okay had they just called it the Mach-E. Because you know what?
Just call it a Ford Mach-E.
Because the Mach-E is kind of cool. Like the name is kind of cool. Like,
well, it's like people that were having all those problems with the new Lightning that's coming out, right? The Ford Lightning. Yeah. I think that's a perfect name, right? Like, so I was a big fan of all the previous Lightning iterations, but it makes sense. It's an electric
It's
truck.
an electric truck.
Lightning.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's a
Yeah.
great name. I don't like it, but it's a great name and it works perfectly. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that one I'm willing to admit is just me being a curmudgeon.
Well, it's also like if you want to talk about the perfect monikers for like an electric car, nothing beats Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, because Tesla, the man, like basically invented modern,
Edison.
electricity to power devices.
that reminds me of a joke. So if somebody steals a Tesla, does it become an Edison?
No, if they burned it to the ground, it would become an Edison.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
Yeah. But
Well, we got off track. 'cause,
Yeah.
we tend to do that because we're all gearheads and grease monkeys.
yes, and plus I didn't share I don't want to give any
You did
Ford
vote.
well, no, I'm saying I didn't want to give Ford any ideas because I do have on the line of lightning, I have another very famous name that
Yeah,
I think
don't
would be
do it.
amazing, and I don't even want to put it into the
Don't.
universe.
Don't go
But-
there.
So did we finish scoring this thing?
Yes, we did.
We did. It's
We
time
did.
to tally.
So I will type up my score first, just simply because it's in front of me. So that's 5 plus 3 plus 4.3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2.5. That hurts. Plus 4. Ooh, okay. Well, it only came into 24.8. Okay. And I say only because that's not even a full point below the ZL1. So even though I was harsh, I don't feel like as a whole I was unfairly harsh.
Well, you gave it a couple of 5s in the beginning for
Yeah, I gave it a 5 for
horsepower
power and I
yeah,
gave it the 4.3 for the interior.
right. You were just dead wrong towards the end.
So okay, so then what was you didn't create an Excel sheet for this, Vinny, where you could just
No. I hate Excel, man.
oh man.
I don't have that kind of mind.
So give me
Numbers are so acidic.
all right.
So Rob, I'll just read off the numbers. 5, 3.5, 5, 4.5, 3.5, 3, 5. That's all.
29.5, which is okay.
What were my numbers on the GT500 out of curiosity?
You were 30 on the GT500.
30. So see, I'm
Yeah.
unbiased. That's all that says.
And do you want to know what your ZL1 numbers were?
Yes.
27.5.
And that's, you know what? That's a reflection on how I see these 3 cars, to be honest
Okay.
with
So you feel like a solid 2-point difference between the two.
Maybe it could have been closer between the ZL1 and the Hellcat, but I definitely think out of the 3, the GT500 is the superior car. I think the Hellcat's in the middle, and I think the ZL1 is like my least desirable. So those numbers actually reflect how I feel about the cars. So I'm good with that.
Okay. And then, all right. So Vinny, let me clear this. Give me your numbers.
I'm at 5, 3, 4.5, 4, 3, 3.5, and 4.
27. So that puts you. Actually, I'm sorry, I was wrong. You were 26.5, Rob, for the ZL1.
For the ZL1.
Yeah, because Vinny was 27.5
Gotcha.
so you were 27 for the Hellcat.
Right. So it is closer.
Yeah. Well, you were further apart. You were actually
Further
3
apart.
points apart.
I gotcha.
Vinny was only half a point away from the ZL1, and he was 30.3 for the
So what are my 3 scores, Greg?
your three scores total. You were 27.5 for the ZL1,
Mm-hmm.
You were 30 for the GT500, and then 27 for the I mean, you're probably the closest. You're probably,
Yeah.
because, and then so Rob, you're 26.5 for the GT500. 20
No.
I'm sorry, 26.5 for the ZL1.
ZL1.
30.3 for the GT500, and then 27 flat for the
Hellcat.
yeah.
Hmm.
Or 27.5. I'm sorry, 27.5.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's pretty indicative of where I'm at. The ZL1 and the Hellcat are pretty close, and to me the GT500 bests them by a pretty good margin.
now my numbers I don't think are right. I mean, they're right, but they're not, because for the ZL1 it came in at 25.5 for me, and for the Hellcat it's at 24.8. I feel like there's a bigger split there for me. Like, if I was just looking, I feel like there's a bigger split. But then you look at those, and my GT500 numbers were 32.7. And I feel that's right, because it is leaps and bounds for me. I mean, it's way out in left field.
What about the total score for this Hellcat, man?
Okay, so the total score, let's see if we did this. So we're at 90,720. Let me put on my math hat here, because we're going to do 90,720 divided by 24.8. Ooh, it did not fare well. So that's 36.58.
Is the
Yeah, 36.58 a point. That's my most highest dollars per point. So most expensive per point by over $600.
how much was it? 30.
For me, it was 36.58.
Oh, okay.
Then for
Sorry,
you,
go ahead.
You were at you're at 33.59. And then Rob was at 30.74.
Okay.
So
You want to average all three of those scores and then do the same for the other ones? Or
Yeah.
is it pretty obvious which one?
I mean, it's pretty obvious how these shake out. It goes GT500. No, value wise, it doesn't. It goes ZL1 GT500 Hellcat.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Rob's Hellcat score, which is the best out of all of them, just barely beats out. Actually, it doesn't beat out his GT500 score. The averaged.
Well, this has been fun, you guys. I'm not entirely surprised.
I think our value system worked. Like, it ended up working. I'm curious to see when we start doing much bigger numbers and much more disparity. Like,
you know what I'm curious about? If we next time start comparing, let's say, a Corvette to a 911 to something else, cars that the three of us really don't have any vested
emotional attachment to,
emotional attachment
or experience with,
like how our answers are then colored by just pure raw numbers, let's say, as opposed to an emotional attachment to a car. That could be really interesting.
Yeah. I do wonder if our value system is going to hold up compared to a $60,000 Corvette compared to a $300,000 or $400,000. A $400,000 Ford GT. They're in the same class, right?
It'll get hit in the right categories, and it'll get props in the right categories. You know, you can't beat the Corvette in terms of performance for the dollar versus anything. It's the number one car in the world when you compare for performance to value for performance.
Yeah.
I can't think of another car that comes close. Can you guys?
No way.
I mean, and like we said before, we're only at the base model. We haven't even gotten the mid-level Z06 yet, let alone the big boy.
Well, but that's the thing.
Even if you say, let's say that ZR1 comes out and it's 150 or 160 grand, it won't be.
It'll still beat the pants off of every Ferrari. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Every Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, when it comes to value, you're just not going to be able to touch it.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't say that. That's not to say that someone who has the money to afford any of those, let's say, 3 brands is going to choose the Corvette over a Ferrari, because there's a lot of emotional attachment to a Ferrari.
I wonder if we should refine our categories when we do those.
We could.
Because there are things that maybe should be factored in. Like, I've never sat in a C8, but I've also never sat in a 458 Italia. So I can't, it's difficult for me to just look at pictures and be like, oh, well, they both have navigation, so I got to score them the same. They have the same amenities, but one could be like the most supple leather I've ever sat in. You know what I mean? So
that's what I was trying to get at before when we were talking about, I forget exactly what we were talking about, but earlier in this episode, I was comparing like performance out of either 3 of the cars that we've reviewed versus the European version of a muscle car like an AMG Mercedes.
Right.
And how I was saying, when you get into the 6-figure mark, you're still getting a GT500 interior full of plastics and stuff like that, whereas the AMG Mercedes, it's all aluminum and wood or carbon fiber, and there's things that those brands over there, like a Ferrari, will bring to the card game that a Corvette never will.
We will we'll talk about this more, and we'll definitely include you in that conversation, Rob.
Cool.
You guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks again, Rob, for coming on.
Absolutely. It's always my pleasure.
Greg, thank you for participating and running the numbers and handling the build this episode.
And for just being you, Greg. Let's thank
even with the 2.5?
Even with your 2.5, I love you so much. I'll forgive you.
You guys at home and girls tuning in, let us know what you think of the outcome, whether you think we're way off base or if we're right on the money. Do you agree with Greg or Rob or myself? Do you think we're all full of it? Let us know, please. It'll help us guide us in future episodes, and definitely chime in and let us know what categories we should forego and which we might include in our next episodes. You guys have anything for the people before we let them go?
Just thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always for reading our articles. We do it. It comes from here. It's about passion. You can tell we love cars. So this is a joy to do. It's not work to me. It's joy. So
definitely not. Well said, Rob. I guess we'll have a quick word from our sponsors, and then Greg and I will do our thing and kind of wrap things up.
Next time, boys.
Motor oils and additives are the 2 most important pillars of the German company Liqui-Moly. Beyond that, the company sells service products, car care, greases, pastes, underbody protection, and windscreen adhesives. They also offer the tools and equipment required to use those products effectively. There are a total of more than 4,000 items, which make Liqui-Moly a globally unique, full-range retailer for automotive chemicals. Along with cars, Liqui-Moly also has its own product range for motorcycles and bicycles, for commercial vehicles and construction machines, for garden devices and industrial applications, as well as for boats and small aircraft. In order to ensure the consistently high quality of its products, Liqui produces its oils and additives exclusively in Germany. So if you want to check out the high quality products of Liqui, go to liquimoly.com. That's LIQUI-MOLY.com. Well, there you have it, Greg. Another fantastic episode. A lot of fun having Rob on and just capping off this series. It's been really cool.
Yeah, it is. And especially with the numbers, like, I'm going back looking at this going, was I too hard on the ZL1?
It makes you think, man. It makes you like, oh man, like, am I really about to give this a 2.8 or I can't, it's deserved, right?
Yeah.
I think as we migrate into like different types of vehicles, like the next series will likely be that, sports car segment. But let's say we did trucks or, sport compact cars or something like that in the future. I think it's going to be a little bit more polarizing. We're going to see a lot more low scores like that.
Yeah. And I do think the GT500, looking at the scores, it wasn't just, fanboy Greg that gave it outstanding scores. Everybody gave it. If we just went strictly by combined scores, that thing kicked the crap out of everything.
Yeah. No. Like the collective, like mindset for all three of us was like, that one was the best, right?
Yeah.
The value was what was in question.
And even the value kind of won. It wasn't last.
Yeah. And that's a win in and of itself for that expensive of a car.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that the $100,000 car, the most expensive car, didn't come in dead last on value.
Right.
Like that's pretty impressive. And and to be fair, the Mopar held its own. I think what killed it was the fact that it was a $90,000 car at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, look, the thing is, we're all big fans of all three of these cars, right? Like, it's just what level, right? So, like,
yeah,
that's kind of what I was getting at as far as, in the future, we'll start to see some lower scores. If you ask me to score Miata, and I start looking at like some of the options and, the value there, I'm not a JDM guy. I have an appreciation for some of them, but like a Miata is not one typically. So yeah, I'm not going to score it really high on performance,
Yeah.
But anyways, I am excited to kind of develop this a little bit more. You guys at home and girls again, you should know that this is a constantly evolving kind of thing, right? So what we learned on these past 3 episodes, what we liked and disliked about our measuring system and just the way that we're building these cars, we're going to implement that in the future. So if you can give us any feedback, please do so. Drop a comment in the comment section below and do that whole thing where you give us the like, the comment, subscribe, the notification bell, all that. We really appreciate it. We're almost at 200 followers. I think I checked today, we were at 199, which is really cool because we just started this channel like a couple months ago. So I think that's a big achievement. I know that there are some channels out there with hundreds and thousands of millions of followers, but for a fledgling channel like ours, that's pretty good, Greg.
Yep.
But in any case, I think in the future, we have some tricks up our sleeves for how we're going to do this. So tune in every Friday at noon. I also want to take a quick moment to thank some of our sponsors that make all this happen. That's Performance Distributors, ProCharger, ARP, Liqui, Silver Sport Transmissions, Holly Performance Brands, Optima, Performance Online, and of course our title sponsor, Lucas Oil. Without them, we wouldn't be able to continue doing this show. This started as a passion project, and now it continues because of them. So thanks to them, and thanks to you at home. Greg, before we let them go, do you have anything for them?
If you like Engine Labs, we have a ton of stuff this week.
Awesome. What do you guys have on Engine Labs right now?
We've got something on dimpled diesel pistons, which is actually a really interesting read. Not gonna lie, it won me over. Then we've got our new Tool of the Month series kicked off.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's basically every month we're going to look at, tools that should be in every, engine enthusiast toolbox. This month it was the Summit Racing Pro dial bore gauge. And that's honestly, that's probably one of my favorite tools. Like in general, I've always liked dial bore gauges. I really don't know why. Like I just have this weird attraction to them. But it's such a versatile tool. And so I basically, walked out to the shop and started playing with it on the Ford engine and took pictures, and, and we talk about how to use them and what they measure and, why it's a useful tool. And I did really good. I didn't mention Plastigauge once. So
Nice.
like didn't even take a shot at Plastigauge. But yeah, so, we're kicking that off. And then, we got another article from Jeff Smith that will be up by the time this goes live.
Okay, cool.
So that'll be on it's from the Blueprint series, which we haven't really done for a while. That's kind of coming to an end because we've covered everything, but we're gonna wrap it up. But this one's on roller cam buttons.
Okay.
And what they are, why you use them, how to set them, how to, have the different materials wear. Just in, a general roller cam button.
Very cool.
Tech piece. So yeah, I mean, we've got it. Like I said, this week just happened to load up a lot with really good stuff, which is sad because when you see, a good article, four spots down, it's like, damn, but it was bumped by all good articles. So
yeah, that's a tough thing, right? Like as editors, we come to the end of the month, and a lot of times we've been working on stuff all month, and it all just comes to fruition at the same time. So you get hit with like some of your best articles all within like a week, right? Obviously, we're publishing news articles all the time, and those are great, but that's just how it happens sometimes. It would be akin to publishing an actual like print magazine, because you have all this time where you're accumulating your content and then package it all together.
Yeah, and it's really, disappointing when you're like that really needs to be up top for a while longer. But I mean, I guess it's an excess of riches.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good.
Yeah. So,
well, everybody check out enginelabs.com. Bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think. Just today on Street Muscle, we published. We have 2 articles up on our daily Camaro project. That's the high mileage 5th gen that we've been working on. We finished a whole host of bolt-on parts from Flowmaster, MSD, and Hurst. So go check that out. We talk about some of the things that we did and the considerations that had to be made because of the California Air Resources Board. So if you're a fan who lives in California, go check that out because it addresses some concerns that you might have as well. It's a constantly moving target. And so what we've published that's legal now might not be, in just a few years' time. But as of right now, you can go and get some good information on what you potentially could do to your own vehicle. And along with that, we published another article in that series that had to do with Diablo Sport. So in that same vein of thought where, we're restricted because we are that 50th state in that, 49 state legal versus 50 state legal, we're that 50th state. So we reached out to the people at Diablo Sport and we said, hey, we did this, basic full bolt-on package. And we want to make the most of those gains, given that we've had to make some concessions because of those emission standards. What can you do for us? And they said, oh, well, we actually have a couple of products in that line, and this is made specifically for you. So go check that out. There's some dyno results, which show exactly how much power we were able to eke out of that 6.2 liter. And it might surprise you. Go check it out. That's on streetmusclemag.com. Of course, one more time, we really appreciate it when you guys hit that subscribe button, so please do so. And go give us a follow on Facebook as well. I think that's it for this week. Again, tune in every Friday at noon where these episodes air on YouTube and Facebook. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.